this crash. This is how all WSs are introduced after this accident. This is the story of the Cowdan train crash. The 800 up Uckfield Oxford DMU train 2E27 consisted of BR Class 205 Rika Unit 2050-18 and 2050-01. By driver Brian Boston and guard Jonathan Brand Matthews. The 2E27 departed from Eschers at 8:25 and was a single track decision of line of danger, which ran from Everest to Hughes Station. The signal was meant to be held at danger for E27. At the 8:14 Oxford Backfield EMU train 2E24. This is a part of Class 2053 Unit 2050-29 and 2050-30-32. Crew by driver D. Reed and R. Boys. It has been part of Cowan Station, always located on the signal line lack of between Amherst and Hever. Because of the lack of communication of the train communicated to the train crews, the activated signal line was able to break on, causing the collision, and then disaster struck. The two trains smashed into each other. The lead car of 2E27 was telescoped by the lead car of 2E24. Both sides of those cars where a reporter was killed. The cab was also badly damaged. The forces of today who has been driving 2E27. There were several news factors. It was confirmed that the AWS was preventing signal. There was low around. There were no points preventing the train's wrong entrance selection, but however, the signal however, the official report Mary blamed the driver of the North Island joint, and upon further investigation was found to be as brand in the direction coming. The Oxfield signalman could not prevent the crash. It was noted the Oxford signalman was aware of the situation and no tracks of telescopes and no telephone and no intervention. Possibly the driver never heard about the noise of the engine immediately behind him. The similar the emergency service in the collision, while the trains were on the same one part. The reason because of the craft circus radio to part of the accident was previous Clapton disaster of the previous Clapton Junction disaster, and hidden report recommendations remains unclear. However, it seems likely that the change occurred at the same time the Channel Tunnel, the British Rail Network, probably took findings along the beginning of the sailing across the railway immediately following the accident, and qualities were started. The crash was accelerated at the age of design of multiple units per wall. The spare class chassis of the elderly British rail coaches were 5-stock, based on the BRMK1 design, lead to the overriding of the carriage by the next wave of the diesel engines above. The flames of the coaches probably did not help these trains unpopular with these users because their age was not by the 2000 or by turbo stars. The Weasley line command with lobsies for service and to the line. Previously, it's been about missing links and via the Booker press the line requisition, being not the single selections. Could have led to such an event that continued to campaign with the redoubling of the routes and its direct with their MBL2 project. A plague was on the station building that came out and the crash. Car security radios began to be introduced. SPT includes were introduced to the project to the same lines. AWS might report some access system and a report to check that train's automatic warning system is operational. Eventually, the train position a warning system was set of the single lines at each other was poisoned.